and welcome to another exciting episode of the Bud Rebel Show, like a podcast like no other. And tonight, I gotta tell you, I am so excited, really excited with someone I got to know, not just as just a really terrific actor, but I'm gonna even say a friend. He is someone really special to me and extremely talented. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to a man named Eric Roberts. And Eric, before I get going, I got off my balance a little bit. I wanted to tell you this podcast. We do things like weird thoughts and events. We do things like crazy business ideas. We talk about different concepts. It's going to be a lot of fun. Are you ready for some fun, Eric?
I'm ready to go, pal. Thank you.
All right. So, I mean, I think you're all ready because you're refreshed. You took a nice little swim in the pool. I think you're ready to go. You look good. You're ready to get this thing going. I'm excited about it. So, Eric, people that don't know you, I want you to know that you're one of the top actors out there. You were phenomenal in the production that we had called Seduction. But how'd you get started in acting? Where did it all begin? Give me us a little background of your life story, if you could.
Well, very quickly and very simply, I was a little boy with a terrible stutter. I couldn't talk to anybody without stuttering. And in grammar school, when you stutter, they laugh at you. So I was kind of ostracized and it was a drag. But then I discovered one day, because everybody has to read when you go around the room, everybody reads a sentence or a paragraph. And I discovered if I counted the sentences and I memorized mine, I could speak without stuttering. So it became an exercise at first. I memorized stuff so I could talk. But then I realized that's what actors did. Hey, I think I'll be an actor. And that's an oversimplification of how it all came about.
So, what was your first, let's say, jump into acting? I'm even talking about like in first grade. Saying, when did you first like really know that you loved it anyway? When did it first happen?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The first play I did, I was 4 years old,
Just
and I
4 years
played
old.
a
Wow.
clown in a toy box for a Christmas play. And Uh, uh, and at the dress rehearsal, they moved the toy box. So we all crawl in at the end of Act One, the lights go out. We all crawl in the toy box. They moved the toy box from downstage left to upstage right, the opposite of where it was. Now, I'm only 4 years old. I have one rehearsal with this box in a new place, but I forget. And suddenly, end of Act One, the lights go out. I head for the toy box. It is not downstage left. It is upstage right. I come off the stage, bam, hit my face on the ground. The stage manager comes out, scoops me up, takes me backstage. They put ice on my face. It was an intermission. I had a few minutes, and I recovered. And it was the recovery of that, and having everybody think I was so important that made me think this was a really good job. So it was a combination of
Oh, yeah, I mean, people don't
using
remember
things.
what people don't remember what they ate for breakfast the day before, but you remember what you did at 4 years old and such details. It's amazing. So, was your family there? Yeah, I guess your family was there too. Your family
Always
was your
they were.
family actually.
Everybody, my mom and dad, I didn't have any sisters yet, but mom and dad were there. And yeah, so that was the beginning.
Yeah, when you're starting out, so you're 4 years old, you like it, and then you guess you do high school and throughout the whole time when you're growing
Well,
up, or is
no,
it just
when I was 7 years old, there was a local TV series in Atlanta, Georgia called Bum Bum and His Buddies. And every Saturday morning, they had a half-hour drama, and they would, have a half-hour drama every Saturday morning. And it was always a different story. And I was in about a half a dozen of those. So I was in my first TV series, and I got an Atlanta Critics Award. So I was like, wow. I made it. Or at least I thought I had at that age. Wow, I have my first trophy. And it was a great feeling. And it made me realize that, hey, this is something I can do and enjoy and be liked for doing. Hey,
so?
that
So, how did you get that? How did you get the role at 7 years old? Like, is your family intact? Your parents into acting? Well, how did you get that at seven? How did that happen?
my father started a young people's acting school called the Actors and the Writers Workshop, and we're funded in part by the Martin Luther King Foundation. And we patterned my dad patterned his school after Joe Papp's theater in New York. We had a showmobile and we toured the underprivileged areas all week and then a theater in the park on the weekends. And I grew up in repertory theater doing that. I would do 8 to 12 plays a year from the time I am 5 years old until I leave home at 17. So that
So you
was my
need,
background in theater.
I
And
guess I guess your parents were supportive of you being an actor then.
what?
I guess
Well,
you didn't have any. I guess you had a good family. I feel your family supported you as an actor. I guess
oh, sure they did. Sure they did. But then they all kind of tilted their heads when I left home and went to New York. I don't think they really believed people really did that except in books. Because, they were even though my mother was from from Minnesota, uh, my father was from Atlanta, and he was not very worldly, and neither was my mother. So uh, I would imagine, they all thought if he's lucky, he'll live.
But 17, you decided on your own, I'm going to go to New York and become an actor, like that type of actor. I mean, you were doing all these plays before. And you just decided on your own. First of all, why did you go to New York instead of at that point, LA? What told you to go there?
Well, my background was all in theater, and that's where you go if you want to be in theater. So that's
And
right.
did your stuttering just stop at that point? At a certain age, just stop
Oh,
where the acting?
no, it only stopped when I memorized stuff. It didn't really stop. It actually faded, but it didn't stop until my early 30s.
Wow. And then it just, oh wow, that's wild. So, I mean, it's in New York. When you got there, was the door open all the time, or you had to break down a few doors to get your first big? So how did that come about?
No, it was, I was very, very lucky. I did a play, I did many plays at the American Academy of Dramatic Art, which is at the time was not a very good acting school. And acting school is only good as its current administration. And at that time, it was not a great staff there. But I was there, and a woman named Marion Doherty, who discovered everybody who's anybody from Robert Redford to Barbara Streisand to everybody. She discovered them all in that generation. Paul Newman, all of them. She discovered them. No, maybe not Paul Newman because I think he was before her even. But anyway, she came to a play at the American Academy and she saw me and left a card and said, "Come to my office," which was like 2 blocks away from the school. It was on Madison Avenue between 30th and 31st. And come to my office. I think you might be a real actor, Marion Darby. So I go to her office and she introduced me to Juliet Taylor, the casting director of all time, and Wellington Cedar, Gretchen Rennell, and Bill Tresh. And Bill Tresh became my manager. And that's how I started professionally. I got very lucky in that someone very powerful saw me and went, "That man, that boy, I'm going to help him." And she did.
How much do you think is a natural talent as an actor, and how much can be taught?
Okay, great question, and it deserves a great answer. Here's what it is. Actors are like athletes. We are born, but if you don't nurture the ability, you'll never know it. So, actors are born like athletes. You are born. But if you don't get out there and work out with your legs, the fact you're fast isn't going to amount to anything. You have to work it out. It has to become a part of your life. So you become a track star. Same thing in acting. You have to work it out. You have to work every day if you can. You have to read a play every day. You have to work out every day. So it becomes second nature. Just like when the guy lines up in the starting blocks for a 100-yard dash. He's done it so many times. He's not self-conscious. He doesn't think about his start. He thinks about the fact he's going to win. Here we go. And yeah,
You know,
that's yeah.
it's very funny you say that because I always like wonder, like this guy in high school, then to college, and went through the whole thing, and he still has a batting coach. I'm like, he learned already to hit the ball. Why does he still need a coach to get a batting coach? But I guess you find like that little angle. I guess you can't see what you're doing, and the coach can see things and help guide you in different directions. Is that basically with that same thing with acting?
It's the same thing. There's a great understanding about our human body. It's a vessel. And if we don't take care of it and we don't work it and we don't feed it and we don't nurture it, it will fail us. Like anything else, you have to stay with it. You have to keep feeding it. You have to keep nurturing it. You have to keep believing in it. And when you do long enough, it'll
It's
work.
that.
I'm
So
proof.
have you ever like what's the most takes you ever had to do on an act scene?
Well, it depends on who you're talking about or what you're talking about. I work with some great people, and I work with some very excessive, compulsive people. One being obvious, Bob Fosse. And we did a take where it didn't even on my face. It's going down a hallway. I'm on the phone. It's on the back. I'm in a chair, and it's down a hallway, and it's the whole conversation on my back. We did it dozens of times.
And how
The
do you
same
keep
way every time for me as the actor, but for him as the filmmaker, obviously he had to get something he wasn't getting. But he finally got it, whatever it was. I didn't ask him. I was a kid then. I was only 25 years old. So he was God to me. So whatever he needed, he got.
and the thing about also is that one of the parts that I find very difficult with acting is that you have like a certain stand, your hands here, or your hands there, and then the next thing your hands got to be there, and just the motions you have to be at that same spot exactly. And it gets a little bit like almost fake after a while. If you keep doing it, it doesn't feel real. You almost feel like a robot, and then the whole thing falls out sometimes.
Well, you're talking about film acting and you're talking about matching. And like when you do a big emotional scene, blah, 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 it's a big monologue and it goes on for like a whole minute, blah, 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 and cut. Okay, let's do it again. That was perfect. Do it just like that. We're gonna do
Right,
we're gonna go another
exactly.
angle. So you just have to get into it just like you did before. You won't be perfect, but you'll be very close if you find the same feeling and you don't take much time in between takes.
How do you feel, since you've been around in the industry a bit, how do you feel the changes are going on in the industry with, originally, like I'm sure when you started with film, now it's digital, the whole CGI stuff instead of like the makeup that used to be. How do you feel about the whole changes in the industry itself?
Well, what's happened is very unfortunate because there are no specialists anymore. There are no, that's your focus pull. That's the best guy in the industry. Get that guy. There's not those guys anymore. That's the best cameraman living. There aren't those guys anymore. There's guys who do those jobs and they don't love them like their wife. In the old days, your job was your wife. Your job, I mean, you had a wife at home and you had a wife at work, and the wife at work was the job, and you're married to it, and it's passionate, and you love it like you love your life all day, every day. And you have your bad days, you have your good days, but it's your job, it's your life. It's like your wife, only it's at work.
Well, it
And
doesn't fight with you though.
what?
It doesn't fight with you.
But sometimes the hours and the situation is so hard and so long that you have to be a big fat grown up. And that's also when you learn if you are or you are not a grown up in the proper circumstance.
The story that we did on it's called Seduction, as you know, and I'm going to talk about your role and all that stuff. But the whole industry, what I wanted to do in the story was to tell it through about how you get pulled into a relationship. But the whole idea of seduction is the idea how we get pulled into things. And it must have been so hard being a young person moving up and everything gets thrown your way. You get everything you want. And though some of those things aren't so good for you, and how you pull yourself away and how you have the strength to do that. And I'm sure there are times it was really difficult sometimes. And what advice do you give people who are getting in the industry and actually doing well and how to keep the path without getting you thinking that you're the greatest thing in the world and watching everything crash and burn in front of you, you might say.
Okay, not to be too um wise, neo-wise, but when you commit to your life's vocation, it's like once again your wife, it's like committing to a marriage. You're in for the duration. So there's no backing out. There's no, I'll be back Tuesday. There's none of that. You're in. So you might as well be good to it, be kind to it, be good, be kind. You might as well be all the things you should be always, even when the days aren't good, even when you're still poor. You have to, you have to find that place that you're always that person because the industry has changed in that it's not it's not a merit badge anymore. Like it doesn't it like they have autofocus now. They have uh, you know uh, cameras that weigh 8 pounds. They have cameras that weigh 4 pounds. I mean, what? I mean, it's all like instamatic movie making now. And you just have to understand that. And as the artist, as the guy trying to make people go on this journey with you, you have to believe it and you have to perform it with the same commitment that you did on film, even though you won't have the time, you won't have the rehearsal, and you won't have all the people behind you had behind you before in the old days. You won't have any of that. You're by yourself. And you're by yourself, but you're judged just as harshly as you were in the old days. You're probably judged more harshly because people know less about it.
Can you tell us about your role in the podcast Seduction and how you got to the part in Felton? How was, a different experience than being in front of a camera because it's all audio versus that.
Which part do you want to hear about?
The role that you played in Seduction. Can you tell us
Oh,
about and how you got to the part and
that
how
was
you
an offer. That was an offer. It came to me. I read the script. I enjoyed the script. I called them up. I said, "Let's go." Simple as that.
but in terms of the character development, you did such a great job bringing him to life. You brought more into it than in my script did. You sort of knew who he was. How do you feel about the person you played and the whole story itself?
Well, that script was good. So I had a leg up, and then I had it. It was on the page for me. It was such a good script. And I don't get you only get 1 out of 5 good scripts and only 1 out of 10, 1 out of 15 great scripts. I mean, you don't get good scripts. It's just how it works. Like you don't get great cars. It's just how it works, but you get cars. It's just what it
Mm.
is. And we all make do. It's fine. It's not a crime to not make a great movie. But when you do make a great movie, and this is a great script, so it had a chance to become a great movie. That's why I made it.
Yeah, I mean, just you brought so much insight into the character. I guess it's a different experience when you do it as an audio experience versus having to wait for the makeup. And I guess again, doing the retakes. First of all, well, we didn't have too many retakes. You just knew the part pretty well. It was very easy that way. But the idea of like, how do you feel about doing audio dramas? Do you like the experience versus doing it on? Is it in terms of other acting experiences? What do you feel about that?
It's all the same to me. Audio, film, television, stage, commercials, whatever it is, it's being something I am not. And I love doing that well. I love taking you on that journey with me and saying, look at this guy. I love doing that. It's my life and it makes me happy. And in any medium, in any form, it's all the same difference to me. It's what I love doing.
Like, why question I asked you earlier, and I'm just, again, you have these people, and you see so many stories about people that jet up, do really well in life, and then they fall down. Like that's what we're talking about the seduction part about it. Do you have any advice for those people when they get famous? How to keep it in line? That's what how to keep focus on, like you said, the craft of the acting, while the temptations of like society to have more fun and do all this stuff that you should be doing, blah blah blah. What do you say to those people? Like when it's so hard to
Well,
young people
I'm
like
going to
themselves.
equate it again to marriage. And we have our good days, we have our bad days. Every once in a while, some gorgeous woman walks across us and then she catches our eye, even though we're in love with her. We're not in love with her. So this it's exact same difference. And what you have to do is you have to decide with each role, it's more time in the marriage. And I live for more time in my marriage. And and that's why I probably say yes to maybe 5 to 10% of the things I'm offered. No, not that many, but a lot. Because I just love what I do so much, and I get offers all day, every day.
That's
And
great.
I'm
We're going to come back and we're going to talk to you. We're going to talk about one of your most strangest roles that you ever played in one moment. Okay, we're back. Tell me about the weirdest, the most difficult role you ever had to play.
Well, the most difficult part I ever played was not necessarily the weirdest, but it was for a film called Star 80, Star 80 for Bob Fosse. And I played a real man, Paul Snyder, who murdered Dorothy Stratton, his wife, when they were not together anymore. And she was Playmate of the year before that in 1980. And it's probably the best docudrama ever made. And that was the hardest acting I've ever done because I had total confinement in that I was playing a real person in real time, in real places. Here we go with real events. And so I had real boundaries, but I had to make you go with me. And I think I did.
You did enjoy, it was a challenge. You enjoyed the challenge, I guess, in the whole thing, even though it was
I
very
enjoyed the
difficult.
challenge, but that's because I was being led by Bob Fosse, and he
Mhm.
was an overused and abused word. He was a genius. And once you work with a real genius, you know two things: that you're not one of them, and that they are hard to find. Man, they're hard to
Would you say he's one of the best directors you ever worked with Bob Fosse, or would you say this? Who would you say is the best director you ever worked with?
find. Bob Fosse would be the best director by head and shoulders above every other director I've ever known since.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was the strangest role you had to play?
Well, it was strange because of the circumstances, and it was strange for me because he was kind of an ordinary bumpkin in that he didn't mean to make mistakes. He didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. He didn't mean to do anything wrong. He was just kind of a F up. And but he was a nice guy. He was a crime scene photographer. It's in a movie called Love is a Gun. It's with me, Kelly Preston, and my wife Eliza Roberts.
Wow, okay. And it was a lot of fun. Okay. Do you want to know some weird facts? I got a weird fact for you. You know, a country that you would never think is the number one exporter of a form of coal called anthracite. The country is called North Korea.
Hmm.
So North Korea actually exports coal. It's a really strange one there. You know, one of the things you also mentioned when issues wise, I remember when I was down there and we were talking about the wildfires in California. And I don't know what's happening now in terms of them rebuilding the housing and everything, but are they doing anything to stop it? And what would you say that government's response or what we should do to prevent this from happening, destroying so many houses?
Well, it's a fantastic question, and it needs to be addressed by all society, not just Eric Roberts. But here's what it is. You had a place that burned. It also set other places on fire. Little cinders set house after house after house after house on fire because they're so close together. They're right next to each other. And now they're talking about rebuilding. California is dry. It is dry at best. At worst, it is dangerously dry. It is dry. So the fact that we would rebuild without first taking precautions that it can happen that way again. However, we irrigate it, however, we potentially irrigate it in case of fire, whatever we do, but we need a plan, not just rebuild, because it beat us. Mother Nature defeated man in this fire versus man issue. So now we're going to rebuild in the same place, the same way. Why? Why would you do that to yourself? That's what's the definition of
The mental
idiocy?
illness, right? Yes, let's say do the same thing twice, same thing over again without changing it. Yeah, that's yeah. And I know it's funny is not funny, ironic is that California is the best with dealing with earthquakes. They built structures to deal with it because they knew they're going to deal with it. So why you just said perfectly, why not build houses that are built with make sure there's much more fire resistant material built on them? Why not make sure that the ground where the trees are is shrubbed out so they don't have can't spread the fire so fast. Like, you know, why not have these water pumps ready to go when it happens? You know, all these whys is a great question.
From your
And
mouth to God's ears.
it's so was so sad to see that. And I'm hearing they haven't really done a lot of rebuilding of these people's lives were destroyed, and it's really sad about it, you know? All right. On a lighter note, things that I hate. Things that I hate. I hate plain bagels. There is no reason, Mr. Roberts, for a plain bagel. There's sesame, there's pumpernickel, there's cinnamon raisin, plain bagels, and then there's the number one bagel. And I can't understand it why anybody wants a plain bagel. Don't tell me you like a plain bagel, please. Don't tell me that.
I hate white bread, and that's the same thing as a plain bagel. Uh, yeah, I I hate the fact that I was raised this way, and I have changed. People eat animal. Why do we do that? Now, it's just out of human kindness not to. Why would we do that? And we're still doing it, and it's not good for the heart to be a carnivore. It's bad for your heart. It shortens your life. So that being said and understood, why are we doing it? It's also cruel. Now, I didn't
I
always
have
feel
something for you, by the way, that's very interesting. And I don't
what?
know, okay, so I'm kosher light, but I also, there's a company called Steakhouse in Israel that takes stem cells and makes them into meat. Instead of killing an animal, you can eat the meat made out of stem cell. It tastes good. But I don't know. That's that was an it hasn't developed yet, but I thought it was a great way to do that.
Yeah, that's
Stakeholder.
a good idea.
It was a really cool idea because again, you know what? It's like all the land. You don't have to worry about it. You don't worry about killing. I love animals too. I mean, I gotta admit, I do like once a night, a nice piece of chicken, fried chicken, or whatever. Just maybe used to it. But it is not the nice thing in the world. I mean, I cut back a lot. I do a lot more vegetarian stuff as much as a whole, but
Up
it's an
until
interesting.
I stopped eating beef in 1996, and I stopped eating chicken and fish very recently.
Cheese is
But
very good. Did you give cheese? Don't tell me you have cheese. Did you give cheese?
well, I'm not really a
Cheese.
cheese fan, so
Oh my gosh.
I haven't given it up. But I was never a really cheese guy.
Swiss cheese, melted Swiss cheese and tomato and a bagel. It's very good.
Every once in a while, I'll dip into a little piece of cheese, but no.
Oh, Valley, I love cheese. Valley that I don't know thinking about. So yeah, I mean, it's funny though that you're right. It is an interesting thing about people eating meat and how we are still doing that at such a level. I don't know whether health-wise, people say you need a certain amount of proteins, but you feel like you get enough proteins. What do you do for proteins as a whole yourself?
There's all kinds of there's protein in everything. Just read the label from hummus to black beans.
You don't miss a burger at all. You don't miss a burger ever?
No, I was never a burger guy anyway.
What would you
But
eat? When you ate meat, what would you eat? What meat
what
would you eat?
back in the day, it was so long ago, I used to love filet mignon when it
Filet
was
mignon?
almost raw, black and blue. I loved that.
The
I,
chocolate. There's got to be chocolate, right?
I was
It
a
is.
horrible meat guy. I was a horrible guy. But I changed, and I
You know,
changed.
it's interesting too because like I live here and there's so many the deer population in New York. It's like so crazy. It's getting and because nobody hunts deer here, and I'm like, it's bad and it's good. It's bad because these deers are going to die in the winter if
I
they
got a
don't.
story for you.
Yeah,
My
please.
uncle lives here, and every year he has a deer and he puts it in the freezer, eats it all winter. Anyway, he's got a bunch on his wall, and I said to him once, Albert, his name is Albert, great guy by the way. I love this man like I love my wife. Well, I was my wife, but I say, Albert, why do you have that on the wall? He said, because it's beautiful. And I say, my mom was good looking, but I put her 6 feet under, and he smiled. But
Don't
that's
give me
all
any
we've ever said
ideas.
about
Don't give me any ideas. You might come back and you see his mother stuff on the
it.
wall.
No, but that's all we've ever said about it. But because I respect what he wants, he respects what I don't need, and so
Right.
we like each other.
I think that's important. I mean, a lot of times we are having now in society where people can't even talk about things. They get so mad and so burnt out of conversation. You're like so scared of being like eggshells. They say the one
Let me
thing.
tell you something. Let me tell you. I have a cousin, Adam Bowles, one of the sweetest, most coolest cats on the planet. And he and I don't have the same religion. We don't have the same politics. We don't have the same love for life. We don't have the same hobbies. We don't do the same thing for a living. I love him like I love my wife all day, every day.
Your wife has a lot of competition. That's
Yeah.
great. That is really great. And you know what's good about that also, which to me is it's such a weird thing. As an actor too, to get into character also, you have to understand people. You played a murderer, and I don't think you ever wanted to be a murderer. You had to understand what motivated, what came in his philosophy, something that you really think is dark. And for us not even understand the person next to us that disagrees with us, it's such a bad thing to understand. Why can't we understand someone we totally disagree with? Why can't we understand where their mind comes from? We don't have to agree with them, but if we understand that we could like relate and we can also debate them a lot better, by the way. That's why I don't get it. It's just a bizarre thing in this world. Okay, I got one for you. Ready for something interesting? You're very smart, man. So I'm going to give you something a little. I wrote this today. Let's see. It's called Hate Water. Hate Water. Okay? You can guess what it is. Water is my enemy. And if you love me, you'll make sure we never truly meet. It might help keep you going, but crashes me. Oh my gosh, come on, I got glasses. I'm no anyway, can't be modest. Okay, I'm not with trying to cast a spell, but sometimes you count on a regular basis, so keep that damn liquid away. A matter of fact, very few of those liquid substances should be near me. In the end, it's me or them. You decide. We will never be happy together, except kept in a distance. Who am I? Who hates water?
That might be great. Read it again for me, only don't fuck it up this time. One more time.
My eyes are really bad. That's why it's just very small print. What is
Don't.
my enemy? What is my enemy? And you love me. You'll never make, you'll make sure we never truly meet. It might help keep you going, but crashes me. I'm nothing. I don't know what it is. Trying to cast a spell, but something you count on a regular basis. So keep that damn liquid away. A matter of fact, very few of those liquid substances should be near me. In the end, it's me or them. You decide. We will never be happy together, except kept in a distance. Who am I? And it's not my. I wrote this really poorly. Who
I
am I?
like that, dude. It's more of a lyric than prose, though. Yeah, I heard some kind of melody there, and it needs music.
Well, the answer is it's what we're looking at right between us right now. It's a computer.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I do a lot of writing, so I always want to throw things out there. So I also mentioned this in my last. By the way, I want to know who is your favorite actor and actress, and like some of the best scenes that you've seen.
Well, I've got a few, but I don't want to name any because if you name two, you've left out two. And I like so many that I'm going to sound like an ass kisser because I got a list of about 12. And they're all pretty much young, all but two of them. But I don't want to name any because then I'll leave some out. And I don't want to risk hurting anybody's feelings
So
because
nice.
it's such a personal industry, such a personal opinion that I want to keep it personal.
And you're like, yeah, you're very nice, a good person, but it'd be so much more interesting. Tell me which actors were horrible to work with. You have one sister we all know who's another actress like you. And do you have any other family members as well? Any other
I
brothers and sisters?
have three sisters. Well, I lost one to suicide, but the other one is also an actress. She lives in New York. Her name is Lisa, and she's the kind, smart one of the three of us, and we like her best. All of us do, and
This is a
she's a
connection. Sorry, you say?
cool chick. She's a cool
That's
chick.
great. I don't want to get too personal, but I think it's important that people understand about mental health issues. And since you brought up about your other family member that passed away, I guess you would say it was from like depression and stuff. That was a battle or something that she was dealing with.
To be honest, I don't know. I only met her one time. She's my half sister. She was from my mother's second marriage. I met her when she was a young adult. I had her over to my house and I made dinner for her. We had dinner together, and that was the only time I ever spent with her. Then, several years after that, she committed suicide. Um, uh, she left a letter that I know my sister Julia has. That's all I know.
Wow.
Detailed as that is, that's what I know. But anyway, that's my third sister, and her name was Nancy, and she was very much liked. She was I forget the shows, but she was a PA for a couple of three TV series.
So it's hard being in that you have your children too, right? That you have children in the industry as well.
Well, my daughter is a movie star, Emma Roberts. Sure.
Oh, right, Emma, that's right. Okay, and you have one daughter, or you have any other
One
family members?
son. Morgan is my wife's youngest child, my stepdaughter. I've been in her life since she was, I guess, 11 or 12. She's now in her early 40s, and
Right.
she's
It's
she owns an incredible company called Pie Bake Shop with the pie sign, Pie Bake Shop. They're a catering company, but they also make every pie, savory or sweet, you can imagine. And piebakeshop.com. Get in
okay. I'm
touch.
going to give you one of my business ideas since you're talking about that, which I thought of today, and you would like this because this thing is up your alley,
Hmm.
and it's called the Water Store. Wait, I think I told them this already. No, I didn't. Water Store, and what it is it's a store that has water that's just like triple filtered in a glass bottle, perfectly made, like perfect amount of the pH level,
Is
and
it
you can
flavored?
add what's that?
Is it flavored?
You can
Is it
and no, it's you can add flavors. You can personally add, but all the flavors are organic or natural, and it could be carbonated if you want. But the high idea is that the water is perfectly clear, clean, the highest caliber you can get. Like again, triple filter. You go to the store and this is called the Water Store. That idea, I like it a
It's a good
lot.
idea. It's a good idea because my wife is into the flavored bubbly waters that have no calories. They're just water, but they have a little flavor. But they don't have a sweetness, but you think they do because of the flavor. They're delicious. And they're overpriced. What isn't? But at any rate, they are the answer to Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi or diet whatever you're dieting. Um, go to the bubbly flavored waters that just have a flavor for taste, not for calories.
Because I get water a lot, but and I hate these plastic bottles. I'm not, I mean, I'm maybe a little paranoid about it, but I don't know why they can't put them in glass bottles anymore. So that's why I would put it in a glass bottle. I feel like there's just a chance that even a small amount of that plastic goes into my body. That glass is supposed to be a little bit better. So I don't know what they got. I guess it's much
Oh,
cheaper then.
you are right. Plastic in our bodies is our 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 first instinct is plastic, but our second instinct is maybe it can preserve us. Hey, hey.
Yes, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the thing. I was also going to mention, I just mentioned this other actress that I spoke to recently. Like this movie. It was called Weapons, just came out. Have you heard about that?
Called
Weapons. It was a
what?
horror movie. Weapons. I just saw it
No,
recently. Weapons.
but I love the title.
It's a really good horror movie. It's really good because the characters are so well drawn out, and it's you. I would love to know. I'd love to see you see it, and let me think what you think about it because you really don't know what's going to happen. Very
Well,
few. I love
invite me
movies where
over
you
to
don't
your
know where
house,
they're going.
screen it for invite me over to your house and screen it for me, and we'll
I'd
talk
love
on the
to. Yeah, that'd be great. Like some of my favorite movies, just so you know, I love 12 Monkeys. I loved what's it called? The one with the I hear dead voices. I'm sorry. The one where he's dead and nobody knows he's dead. Bruce Willis movie. Sixth
Yeah,
Sense.
makes
Sixth
sense.
Sense. Amazing. I
Yeah,
loved I loved the one Fight Club.
yeah.
I love that they take you on these journeys and you have no clue where you're going, but the character's so like deep and so like powerful that you're like, wow, this is like that's what I those are some of the best. This movie was like that. It was just like I didn't know where it's going. A lot of horror movies, you know what sort of happening. There's a vampire, there's whatever, but this is like such a different path. If
Cool.
you have
Thank
a
you.
recommend if I
Check it
like
out.
that, if I like those type of movies, do you have a recommendation?
Do I have recommendations?
Psychological thrillers, basically, I think.
Eliza, can you hear me? I was going to ask my wife because I forget the title. These last two movies she showed me, they're both incredible. They're both psychological thrillers. and I don't remember the titles. If
You
it's
remember what you did at 4 years old? At 4 years old, but this time, did you know we had lunch yesterday?
I see and perform and read a lot of titles. That's like,
But did you remember what you had for lunch yesterday?
uh, I didn't eat lunch yesterday because I
Really?
was on the road. I was on an
Oh,
airplane.
okay. Like, what's your next project you got going on, by the way?
You know what? I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go
Okay,
to and also your audience. Go to
please.
imdb.com,
I can
type
do
in
that,
my
yes.
name. That
I
can
know.
tell you about me better than I can tell you about me.
All right. Try to challenge it up.
Oh,
No
there's such a
problem.
great website, imdb.com. I know everybody knows about them, but anybody who doesn't, spread it around. I
That's
am.
definitely MTB. That could be for me too, also. Hello? What's happened? Hello?
You got a light on yourself.
Yeah, I just did something bad. Didn't I press the wrong button? Where are you?
You
What
look
just
better
happened?
though.
All right, I guess I can talk. I don't know where I just went. Can you see me? What's happened to
I
me?
can see you.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. Um, I also have investments, and I have a very unusual investment I'm going to talk about, and it's dogs. So why would I say a dog is an investment? Because a dog to me brings you such happiness. And by the happiness that you get by having a dog, you then probably are healthier, which is probably more positive to you. And as you're happier, you can make wiser decisions. So a dog might be a very good investment. And so a lot of people, when they make investments, sometimes make investments because they're scared and so forth. A dog might just be. Do you have a dog, by the way? Are you a dog lover?
I agree with all the above because dogs can show all of us unconditional love. And we all should take a lesson in unconditional love.
Yeah. So, by the way, if people want to know more about you and see all this stuff, IMDb, we know that. But you want to tell them anything else? I know you have an Instagram, you have all the new technologies, Twitter, and all that stuff.
I'm everywhere, but you can also find out about me if you go to ericrobertsactor.com. And I want to take this time to talk to you about something that means the world to me. It's called
Please.
Runaway Train, and I'm not talking about the movie, I'm talking about the book. Runaway Train, or The Story of My Life So Far by Eric Roberts. It took me 2 years to write it. I am
Okay.
very proud of it because it every word in it is completely honest, thanks to my wife. And I'm very proud of it. And I would like everybody who's listening to read it. Runaway Train by Eric Roberts, The Story of My Life So Far.
Definitely going to read it. And we're also going to see you in that podcast called Seduction. Don't forget, it's coming out very soon. Make sure you tell all your friends. You are phenomenal in it. I mean, again, I just want to let you know that I was really taken away by just like you just had it. I knew you're a talented actor, but it's a different type of thing, and just you knew the role better than I probably wrote it. So I want to thank you for that, by the way. It was an incredible experience working with you on that. It was a lot of fun. I'm hoping to
And
work
it's
with you on more of those.
okay to me on the air like this. Thank you so much.
No, it's always a pleasure. I always like to leave on a really different note. And again, I'm looking for that book. And one of the things I want to talk about is mental health. I always think that's a really important issue. And a lot of people are afraid to talk about it. I think, in a sense, we all have a little bit of something. And just to be honest with yourself, look in the mirror and try to help yourself, not just be worried about names and titles, but if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling sad or you're feeling, there's nothing wrong with getting help. It's a great thing. It shows strength. It shows ability of recovery. So if you're suffering outside in any way, shape, or form, talk to someone professional. Don't be embarrassed. You're a strong person and you're not alone. There's plenty of people battling out there. We're all there for you. Thank you. And thank you, Eric.
You just
Yep,
said,
sorry.
I agree with. I just want to add one thing to it. You
Yeah,
have to do
please.
what he said, or you'll do what I did, and you'll do drugs instead. I was a drug addict for many years. It is a waste of time. It is a waste of money, and it is a waste of your mind. And you must do what he said. You must address it. And it's so depressing, and it's so hard to address your weaknesses. But we all have them. So celebrate that you have them too, and address the hell out of them. We
Well,
did.
Eric, thank you so much for opening up with us and sharing that moments with us. It's really wonderful and continued success. I look forward to maybe seeing you in the city. We'll grab a bagel, not any meat or anything like that. and doing our next network together. Thank you so much, Eric. Pleasure.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my.
Oh my God, man. Thank you. Take care. She's there. I don't know what meeting went. We can still talk.
No, I thought you were ending the show.
This is useless time. We keep talking. I'm good talking still.
I thought
How's the
you were
weather in California? The
it's
weather in
over.
California, by the way. How's the weather in California? How's the
What's
weather in
that?
California? How's the weather in California? Really hot, right? California's still like crazy hot.
Southern California is probably the most perfect place weather-wise on the planet year-round. It's always 73 degrees, except maybe 4 days of the year. And
Really?
it's just beautiful.
It never gets like 90?
I used to badmouth California, and I can't believe I'd ever badmouth this place. I have fallen so in love with it in my old age. I can't see straight. I love this town.
73 the whole year? It's not like 90 at all? It was so hot. So why do people go to the beach? 73 is not that hot to go to the beach.
I'm 88. I'm 88 years old. You don't know that?
No, no, I said 73 is pretty cold to go to the beach. It's really
Oh,
73.
no, no, no. You got the sun at the beach. You got the
It's
sun. You got the
it's
white,
okay.
the nice
It,
reflection.
and are you a beach goer? Are you a big beach goer? Not really.
I used to be a beach goer, but then I got famous and now I can't go to beaches.
You can't
It's
go to the beach. That's yeah. That's the bad part about going being famous, right? You can't go to the supermarket, everyone bothers you and everything like that. You can dark glasses. Can't wear dark glasses and a mustache. No one knows who you are.
there's so many more upsides to being famous that
Right.
I
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's cool. I think Mina forgot about us there. That's fine. So what are you doing now? What time is it now? It's only 4 o'clock. You going to dinner?
it's 5:45.
You going to dinner?
I am
What are you doing for
actually
dinner?
my wife doesn't know it, but I'm gonna take her to an Italian restaurant called Oliva,
Oliver.
and I'm gonna probably watch her eat spaghetti or linguine while I have uh probably penne marinara.
You don't eat do you eat eggplant parmesan? I've had a lot of problems with eggplant parmesan because it's never crispy. Only a few places make the crispy, the parmesan. It's usually soggy. Is there a good
My
eggplant?
wife is a Parmesan addict. I'm not an egg Parmesan fan. My
Oh, you're
wife,
not.
Parmesan addict. She
What's your
loves
favorite food? What's the favorite food? What would you eat if we went out to
it.
lunch or dinner?
Sounds silly, but think about it before you laugh. It's pizza because it's a whole food. And if you put what you want on it, it's a whole
Right.
food, what you want on it. I love
Well,
pizza.
do you like margarita pizza, grandma slice, or just a plain regular cheese slice of pizza?
I I like any kind of pizza after I dress it up.
You put everything. Oh, they let you do that. There's a place that I used to have near me, and you can choose the bread, the thing. You can choose the sauce. You can choose the whole 9 yards. Is
We
that near
love
you
them.
available?
That's how it should always be. We love
Yeah, and you
them.
can make it exactly the way you want it. I like the Diablo sauce. You ever the Diablo sauce?
Don't think I
You know,
have.
Diablo sauce is hot. That's
I,
not hot, like a little spicy. And
I'm
then
hot.
the other one I had, the one of the best pizzas, you'll be very surprised I had, was in Florida, in Miami, Florida. They use a sweet tomato sauce.
Hmm.
They actually put a little sugar in it. And I mean, to me, the pizza, people like pizza for different reasons. I like pizza, the sauce. Some people into the cheese, some people into like the thin crust. It's not really fair. If you say that's the best pizza, it's really bogus because it's like almost like, what are you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Sauce
I
is
don't
my thing.
sound obnoxious, but I'm a pizza connoisseur and I like the combination. It has to be the sauce, has to be the cheese, has to be the crust. And whole wheat crust, if it's cooked well, oh my God, it's perfect.
But then it's like, okay, but if you're saying crust, and you're saying that you need like a thin crust, like there's also the Detroit thick crust. I mean, when you're saying crust, which is like what you want, you know what I'm saying? That's not even fair.
Crust is like kissing. You have long, wet kisses, you have short, nice kisses, you have just lippy kisses. Same with crust. Sometimes you have nice thin crust, sometimes you have good thick crust, sometimes you have just hard, medium crust. It depends on your mood or what time of day or what you have on it, right?
So you can go ahead. You could say that. I know I like the thin crust. I'm just very partial to the thin crust and extra crispy. And then I would
I, I
say,
like I like the thin crust, extra crispy with thin cheese and thin tomato.
and then if you put on some
Too
basil,
much tomato on a thin crust, it's going to mess up my crust.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm saying, but yeah, it's true. And you need fresh garlic.
Ah, well, I'm a little insane with the garlic because I like a clove of garlic on each slice, and I like 8 slices in a 14-inch pie. So, I like a lot of garlic, but it's
And
I'm making my wife
that's
nuts.
not insane. That's logical. Or extra garlic, a little oregano, and a little rosemary. If you want to really go go a little over the top. That may be over the top, but
Charlie
well,
would approve.
yeah. So what would you have with that pizza? What are you
What
drinking with pizza?
pizza? I
It's
would
just water?
have either a glass of white wine, or if I'm not drinking, I'm gonna have a glass of white grape juice.
My great juice. Very good. Very good. Not red wine, white wine.
Not with
Red
my
wine's
pizza.
much better.
Pizza. No, I'm
No,
not a red wine guy anyway, but because I
that's
was never
good.
a beef guy, and beef goes to the red. I was never that guy. No.
All right. Well, I don't know what she's doing, but we're having a good time anyway. So we'll keep talking till we shut up. No, I gotta get up early tomorrow. I go to the
I
Bronx,
love
but
your setup, but I want to give you advice. I want to tell you
sure.
something. It's
So
a
I've
little
always liked advice. I'm
like
on.
your host advice, a little obnoxious, but I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I
I like advice.
Okay, your camera is like this. I think you should raise your camera so it's even with your eyes or your face.
I
So
know. Is that better?
no, but now I don't have your body. I want both. I want like you have me. A
I'm
little
like,
more.
I don't know, but that's got to be my technical staff. The
When we're
technical
off
staff
the
has
air,
messed it up a little bit.
tell them this is where you give the interview, not here.
Right.
Because
Okay.
here's the middle of your screen. I want this to be the middle of your screen. I like
Right
your
there.
mom.
Oh, okay. So that's my technical. They're not doing the right thing. Then I got to tell them the
Tell them to
screens.
pick it up, not have it under your face pointing up at you, but have it at you, not up at you, but at you, like mine is.
Right, right. Okay. So she gave me the 5 minute warning. So you could talk more about why don't you talk about your book a little bit? I want to know about Runaway Train. Tell me a little
Oh,
more about that.
I read my book. Okay, first of all, it took me 2 full years to write it. First of all, I was never going to write a book. Why would I write a book? I'm so sick of reading actors' books anyway. And actors
Hmm.
always tell you about how hard their life was, how underprivileged, their family was, and how they did this and they did that, and then they found this and they found happiness. And now they support everybody and everything's fine. Okay, that's an old story, and I've read it 45 times. At least, because I've read every biography maybe ever written about anybody famous. I'm a reader. I've got a 5,000 book library. Anyway, so I take 2 years with my wife as my proofreader about a book I was never going to write until every publisher and every fan kept saying, "When are you writing a book?" I was never going to write a book, but all the pressure. So my wife comes to me finally and she says, in my Rolodex now, I've got a dozen publishers who want to know when you're going to write your book. I think we need to write a book. We got all the top publishers all want to do it, so you have to write a book. Because if you don't, somebody else will about you. So I did. I took 2 full years and I wrote it. She was my proofreader and my honest keeper. And I wrote this book. And I'm not a writer, so it scares me. And but my wife kept me straight, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. In fact, I probably read it. Don't brag on me. I probably read it 5 times. I mean, who's going to read his own book after it's published 5 times? I love reading it. It works, and it's
That's a
honest.
That's really cool. I started writing like my story, but I taught to write your own story. It really is. It's like, what do you
It's
decide to put in?
so hard to write your story about yourself. It is
Yeah,
so.
it's like, yeah, because what do you put in and what don't you put it in? Like, do you put in your second grade teacher? I mean, I'm not going to go a little crazy. Do you put it in the time they dumped your books? I mean, do you put in what is the thing that made you who you are, and what are they going to find interesting as
All
a
that
people?
stuff, all that stuff. Yes,
It's so much
yes,
stuff.
don't do that.
So much stuff, and then you just like I don't know, and then it's like the beginning's easy, but like the middle part's a little. Not, I mean, I don't know,
After
it's
going through
interesting.
this process, I think everybody.
You have a very exciting story. You have a much more exciting story than the average person. Because the average person, I get up, go to the job.
I have a very average story, but I think everybody should have my wife when they write a book about themselves
Right.
because she's the best mirror. She will tell you when you're real, and she'll tell you when you're not. and she'll do it in a gentle way. And you're like,
So
oh,
maybe,
okay. And you're
maybe
like,
she could hire her for that job. She could help make the Roy's books. There's a new
"Well,
job for her.
as that.
So it was very cathartic to write your book. It's the word cathartic.
Cathartic is a good word for it. It is like going to a therapy session after you're into it. Every day you get up, it's like going to therapy. And uh,
How many
uh,
pages would you do in a day? Would you do like would some days you do like 5 pages and some days you do like 30 page, whatever? How many pages would one page?
some days I would do like a paragraph, and some days I would do a dozen pages.
So,
You
oh,
know,
it depends what mood you're in too, because sometimes the paragraph can be much deeper than the whole 5 pages, maybe even, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it's out there on Amazon, Kindle and all that stuff. I can get the book and stuff like that.
Runaway Train, yeah. And I wish my
But,
mom had lived to read it. She didn't, but
but she's
and
reading from upstairs and she's proud of you.
okay, good for you.
All right.
And I am so incredibly proud and humbled in a good way by both my sisters, and I hope they both enjoy it as much as I hope they enjoy it.
Well, I'm sure they will. And by the way, how'd you come across the name Runaway Train? How did that come as the name for the book?
I didn't come across it, the publisher did, and the
Oh,
publisher uh, thinks I am that, and I was in that, and that's a memorable title, so they named it that.
yeah, that's also like a song, Runaway Train, one of my favorite songs. Favorite artist sing that song. Well, thank you so much, Eric. And I'm hoping we'll stay in touch. And again, all success, continued blessings. We're looking forward to working with you in the future. And Seduction's coming out, and we're looking forward to that and do other work. And God bless you. And I'm looking to read forward. I have a new book to read. Thank you.
You are so likable, and let's stay in touch, okay?
Sounds great, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.